Well, if summer has you searching for some fun activities to do with the kiddos, then listen up.
That's right. Kelly Owens-Incentini is the owner of Play to Learn Tot, and she's come up with a summer bucket list, fun list, if you will. And this morning we're starting with some chalk. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. And you know, let's get right to this because parents and kids are looking for fun things they can do outside, you know, aside from maybe swimming.
Yeah, and we definitely need a lot of that right now. It's been so hot.
I know. Well, listen, you've got this first activity here, put out the fire. That's what you call it, right? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so think about hand strengthening, right? And all those fine motor skills. So you can work on those really discreetly without your little one even knowing by getting a little water bottle, a squirt bottle, and chalking some flames in the road or in the driveway. And then just depending on your little one's age and ability, you could write math facts, sight words, letters, numbers, right on those flames, and then shout them out and have them put out the fire. So again, you're working on hand strengthening, those fine motor skills to help with future handwriting abilities, buttoning, shoe tying, those fine motor skills that are so important. But also for the older friends, you could be doing a fun way to maybe practice those sight words, letter sounds, math facts, etc.
That's great.
Really fun and easy.
That's neat, and that seems like something like probably items that everybody would have in their home already. And another activity, wet, dry, try, sounds like something anybody could do at home too.
Yeah, so yesterday my daughters and I went outside. They're almost 6 and almost 4, and I gave each of them a paintbrush. I had an old paintbrush from painting the house, and then I had a paintbrush from their art kits. 2 quick paintbrushes, 2 little cups of water, and some chalk. All things you have at home. And I said, we're going to work on our handwriting outside today. And my one daughter here you see working on her number formation. So mommy wrote 1 through, I think 6 at the time, 1 through 6. And she watched as I wrote them, and I used our language of formation, big line down. And then she took her paintbrush and she had to try it herself, right? So she had to wet it with a paintbrush. So big line down, wet. And then it started to dry from the sun pretty quickly. By the time she was like on number 3, number 1 was pretty much dry. So she was seeing it dry, and then she had to try herself. And she did her big line down, and she kind of traced over mommy's and the drying paint that she had done herself. I loved this because I thought, you know what, you can get those paintbrushes out and you could work on a lot of the different skills we've already mentioned, right? You could write your spelling words, your sight words, you could write numbers, you could write your letters, you could write your name, whatever you're working on. But for little ones, you could also just paint, right? You could paint the side of the house. You could paint the driveway. You could draw shapes. My other daughter was at one point working on drawing triangles and squares. So you could really just work on so many different skills from, like, you know, toddlers. I could have had my 14-month-old doing this, right? Just putting that paintbrush and water in their hands.
I was just saying,
So
just
many things we can do.
to clarify, using water. You can paint the house, just use water.
Oh yeah, water. Yeah, a cup of water.
You know, another great activity that you talk a lot about on your website and on Instagram is sorting, right? And that could be anything, whether they're out on a scavenger hunt and find stuff, or maybe mom and dad find stuff and they need to sort it.
So here, real quick before we get to sorting, I guess here you see we cut our scissors, we brought out our scissors, and we cut a bunch of flowers in the landscaping. And you can also do this with dead flowers, maybe you got on like your birthday. And we put all the flowers in the driveway. It cut and trimmed all the little flower parts. And we talked about the parts of the flowers, and we sorted them. And then once they had kind of come up with this schema or idea for sorting, we decided to make 3 bubbles to sort in and label them. So that's where your chalk comes in today. It ended up being a great fine motor cutting and sorting lesson.
Great.
But you mentioned a scavenger hunt, and I talk about scavenger hunts with you guys all the time. Kids love a scavenger hunt. Take your bucket, go outside, and hunt for things, little nature treasures. Come back to your driveway with your chalk and your bucket of treasures. And here you'll see my little friends, and they had a whole bucket of items, pine cones and rocks and wood chips. And I just dumped them all out and said, oh, look at all these items and these treasures. How could we sort them? And they came up with all these attributes and they named them and they decided on ways to sort. And then they decided that we were going to label with letters. So my older daughter knew that R was for rocks. So I drew a big circle. We put all the rocks inside and we put an R to label. I mean, these are things you can be doing with your toddlers.
Right.
And then you could really differentiate all the way up to your kindergartners and your first graders, right?
Fantastic. And then you're sneaking in some learning. They're having fun.
Yeah.
You're teaching them. I said, you teachers must love your kids. They must be ready to go by the time the school year starts. She's always doing these great things with their kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we didn't get to all of them, but we'll post the rest on our website, Kelly. And we just want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And
have a great day.
You too. And listen, if you'd like more information, or you can find Play to Learn online, playtolearntaught.com. They're also on social media on Instagram and Facebook.